Hello there everyone, welcome back to another match worn boot review, and in today's video we're taking a look at this pair of Adidas X19.1s from the Encryption Pack. This pair were match worn by Egypt and Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah during the 2019-20 season. This was of course a very significant season for Liverpool, with them lifting the Premier League title, which was their first league title in 30 years, which of course Mohamed Salah played a vital part in. So stick around and watch the entire review if you'd like to see all the modifications in which Salah has made to his pair. Okay, so let's start off with the personalisation in which Salah has added to this pair. So his personalisation is on the lateral side of the heel area just here. You'll notice he has his name Salah along with the Egyptian national flag. Now this is very simplistic personalisation. Sometimes he's been seen to also have the world emoji. Not entirely sure what he's representing with that, but he's kept his personalisation on this pair fairly minimalistic. Right, let's take a look at the outsole then. So this pair do feature the same speed frame outsole as what you'd find on the retail version of the X19.1. So you notice here the triangular studs in the forefoot, with the conical studs in the heel area. However, the heel counter on this pair has been specially made just for Salah. So you'll notice here the medial side is actually higher than the lateral side. This is because the lateral side of the heel area has been shaven down just for Salah to meet his requirements. This typically would reduce heel pressure. This is a modification in which Gareth Bale has also used, most notably on his Adidas F50 Adizero boots. However, on Gareth Bale's pairs, Adidas did add a sort of fake piece of plastic here to disguise the difference, but with Salah's pair they've just left that blank. However, it's not too noticeable from a distance. The upper of Salah's boots is still constructed from the speed mesh upper. However, it consists of two layers rather than one, which you'd find on the retail version. So the outer skin is the exact same as the retail version, barring the shape of course, as they are custom made to measure for Salah. The internals is where it gets different. So Salah's pair actually feature a completely custom interior lining and padding. So you'll notice there on the right hand side it's black rather than it being the mesh type material you'd find on the retail version. Now just to compare that to an upper we've got here, this is a pair of Adidas X19.1s. This pair were match worn by Julian Draxler whilst playing for Paris Saint-Germain. These are custom made, however the upper is completely the same as the retail version. So if we take a look at the inside, you'll notice the mesh material which runs through the entirety of the forefoot on the inside of the boots, whereas Salah's pair feature that custom internal line. So with Salah's pair he gets a much thicker padding throughout the forefoot, and it's lined with a black suede material. It's actually quite stiff. It makes the upper a little bit more rigid. There's a lot more structure to the upper itself. Typically the X19.1 upper was quite flimsy just for its mesh construction. But that modification has obviously been added for Salah's comfort, as well as making the upper a little bit more stiff. Now in terms of sizing, this is again another difference between Salah's pair and the general pairs which the public could buy, which were mass produced by Adidas. So if we take a look at the size label here, you'll notice it states only the best for the athlete, which is obviously Adidas's motto. Made in Germany, athlete services. So Adidas have their athlete services factory located in Germany at their headquarters. This is where they hand make all of their athletes' products such as goalkeeper gloves, football boots and so on. You'll notice here that it states 8.25 UK, which is equivalent to an 8.75 in US sizing. Adidas also state the left and right shoe size when making their professional players custom boots. This is because many players differ with their size from their left to their right. Sometimes even only slightly, but of course where Adidas are bespoke making them to their measurements, they do state the specific size rather than just being a generic size which you'd find in a retail. More modifications to this pair come in the form of the heel area. So if we take a look here, you'll notice that Salah's pair do not feature those two pillow style pads that you'd find on the retail version of the X19.1. They were commonly referred to as cushions, but they were sort of just two large pillows on either side which sort of wrapped the heel. Salah's pair feature a thin layer of padding. It's a lot thinner than those pads that you'd find on the retail version, however it's more consistent and runs throughout the entirety of the heel. The lining is also different, so it's the same black suede material as the internal liner on the forefoot area as well. So the entirety of the interior of Salah's boots is covered with that soft black suede material, which is obviously something that's not available on the retail market. It's not attached to the upper by stitching, it's actually thermo bonded with this heat tape here. So you'll notice the taping which runs all the way around there onto the other side. Interestingly, Salah actually uses the same insoles as what you'd find on the retail version of the X19.1s. They are completely the same. This is quite uncommon for professional players' football boots, especially someone of Salah's level. He is at the very top of the game, one of the best in the world. Usually those sorts of players have bespoke insoles, completely orthopedic ones which are made specifically for their needs. However, Salah just uses the typical retail version ones, which is not so unheard of for professional players. Sometimes they're not too bothered about their footwear. The rest of the inside of Salah's boots is also custom, so if we take a look here, you'll notice this thick plastic insole board which actually runs the full length of the boot from the heel to the toe. It's also slightly wider than the sole plate. Just there you can slightly see it. This is due to Salah's feet being a little bit wider than usual, so it makes the overall fitment of the boots better for the player. It also increases the stiffness and rigidity, so if you look here, it's just incredibly stiff. It makes the boots overall a lot less flimsy than what the ones you'd find on the retail market, which is a common modification for professional players' boots across all brands, Adidas, Nike, Puma. And if we compare that to the insole board inside Julian Draxler's pair, again, they are different pairs to what you'd find on the retail market, but they do feature the same insole board as the retail version. So you'll notice here, the heel and midfoot area is sort of detached from the forefoot board, so it's a completely different material. The forefoot board in this pair is fairly flimsy. It folds and creases extremely easily, to be honest. Not much protection there, not much responsiveness, whereas Salah's pair are totally stiff, especially in the midfoot area. There's absolutely no flex there whatsoever. It's just at the top of the toe board where there is any. Anyway guys, that's all for today's video, so thanks very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We aim to get much more match-worn boot reviews out onto our YouTube account in the coming weeks. I hope this was a nice insight for you into Salah's custom boots. See you in the next video.